Good morning. This is Nancy Juetten. I'm the leader of the Raise Your Voice, Make Your Impact Facebook group. And I am super excited this morning to bring to you one of my dearest friends. And you see that written in emails all the time, my dearest friend. And maybe you're one of those jaded people that says, oh, really? Is that really your dearest friend? I'm telling you, this man is one of my dearest friends. He's one of my collaborators. He's someone I wish he lived next door. The fact is, he lives in Florida and I live in Washington. And if you look at the United States of America, that's a ways away. But we still find a way to get together regularly to talk and share and support each other in business. And that is the secret to success in my experience. I know, Mark, that is probably the secret to your success also. So if you have not met Mark Porteous before, he is the founder of he's one of the co-founders of the JV Self-Growth Directory, which is one of the largest networks of entrepreneurs who want to connect with other like minds to coach and collaborate and expand their influence, impact, and income. He also has his own business where he does amazing things. And so we're here to talk about how to create amazing relationships with awesome people so you can exponentiate your impact, and influence, impact, and income. So Mark, thank you so much for coming on live for a few minutes. I'm so excited to have this conversation.
I always love talking to you, Nancy, and appreciate that start too, because again, I see the same thing. My dear friend, and I know when I mail for you and promote, I feel the same way. I'm like, oh, people are probably reading this thinking, oh, sure, Nancy's your dear friend, and definitely is one of the most precious souls in my life.
Well, and wouldn't it be great if everyone we collaborated with truly was someone with whom we had that soul connection?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be something? And I think what I'm here to do this morning is to shine a light that is absolutely possible for every one of us if we just get the idea in our head that that's the reality that we want. And so what do you have? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, we talk about it all the time. So I love the positioning of this conversation that we have around relationships. And we talk, obviously, when you're in business, everything is about relationships. You have your customers and you have your vendors and your partners, but real relationships, the kind of relationships that you want to have in every other part of your life, like with friendships, having those kind of relationships where, again, it's about integrity, keeping your word, knowing that when somebody says something, they mean what they say. Having those type of partnerships and friendships in business, that's what we call relationship capital. And there's nothing more powerful in my business than relationship capital. It's not from who we know, but it's how we know them and how they know me to be. That's what, to me, relationship capital is all about.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that. So, was there some circumstance in your business where you got the aha or the bright light that there was a better way than what some people are demonstrating? Is there a story there?
The story goes before this industry, and we talk a lot about what I call the transformation industry, people in the coaching, consulting, expert industry, people that are trying to make people's lives better. But before I was in this role, I was in sales, corporate sales, and I remember early in my business spending lots of time with my clients. And my boss is saying I was spending too much time. I wasn't talking to enough new people. And after 5 years, they realized that I was building these relationships that created longer customers, people that didn't quit after their well, we didn't have contracts, but people that referred more people, they had more upsells, they had less complaints. And they're like, all of the things that really mattered in a customer, my customers were those people, because I was not just selling them, I was taking care of them. So it wasn't even something that I was consciously aware of. It was just how I had done everything else, in business and in life. And so even though people kept telling me to do it differently, I was like, no, I know that this is what's working. So when I left that industry and I got into this industry, it was, again, kind of the same thing, second nature. But I was seeing that there was a lot of transactional partnerships where it was really a click for click, and that people were looking at numbers more than service. And it just, there was a lot of ickiness in it. And so that's kind of what shifted for me, was like, how do we create a new way of being? How do we evolve this industry? Because a lot of the things, most of the things that have worked in our industry for the last several years, and even a year or two ago, and even sometimes 6 months ago, some of the things that they just shift. Facebook ads, even if it's joint venture marketing, the way that we do joint venture marketing is shifting and changing. And if we just keep holding on to the old way, it's not serving us, and it's not serving the people that we're here to support.
So what is the new way? What is working today?
It goes back to that word, relationship capital. And what does that mean in our business? It means that we know clearly what our vision and our mission is. So that part of it is the most important. And then we only make decisions that are aligned with that. I use our mission, vision, and values. If somebody isn't aligned with my mission, my vision, and my values, I can say, great, here's somebody that might be able to help you, but I'm not the one. And I know lots of other people that might be aligned with your vision, mission, and values. Let's get you two together. But for me, I'm here to make an impact in the world, but the impact that I make through my business is like icing on the cake. The biggest impact that I can make, or I believe anyone can make in the world, is who you're being, how you're showing up in whatever you do. You just said this a little while ago, that you believe that the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And so it's not just about how it is in business. It's about this, using this discernment in every part of your life. You don't want to hang out with friends that are going to bring you down all the time. It's okay to let them go. And the same thing with business partners. You want to hang out with people that are going to lift you up and move us forward. And so to me, the new way of doing business is what I call alignment consciousness. You know what you're here to do, and you partner with people, things that show up. And when you take action that's in alignment with your mission, vision, and values, synchronicities happen. Magic shows up for you. All of the right people are always there when you're in alignment with your soul.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I love that. And this discernment thing, there's an author I really admire. His name is Steve Sims, and he wrote a book called The Art of Making Things Happen. And he's often said, you can't pay the bills with Facebook likes. You can't pay the bills with Facebook likes. What you really want to do is have people who are in your corner and by your side, and champions of your methods. And so in my experience, having done joint ventures and collaborations for the better part of 10 years, what I've always done is it's a very simple model, but I draw a tic-tac-toe board and I put myself in the center, and I say to myself, who are the 8 really great aligned partners that I want to have in my corner and by my side? And I think to myself, and you can think to yourself, those who are listening, what do I do and how do I do it and who do I do it for? And I'm going to put myself in the center, and I'll say, well, I help people book themselves on podcasts so they're never hungry for an audience ever again. Then I think to myself, who else could benefit from that? Who doesn't do what I do, where there would be alignment and a natural complement? And so then I can go about the business of saying, well, maybe leaders of get your book done tribes might be interested in that, because people who have books need to speak up about their books. Speakers might be an excellent audience for me, because if they're not speaking on stage, maybe they want to speak somewhere else. People who teach publicity but don't focus exclusively on podcast guesting might find me to be an excellent guest. So when I start first with myself in the center of this tic-tac-toe board, and then I get deliberate and specific about 8 really great people, I'm looking at the complementary match, but I'm also looking at the values and mission match and the way of being match. Because if somebody is a shark who's going to eat me for lunch, I know right away they're not a match, because I am so not a shark, right?
Yeah, yes. I love that tic-tac-toe method. And I don't think I've ever heard that from you before. It's such a beautiful, simple model, and such a great visual. I did a little tic-tac-toe board on my notebook.
Well, and I actually first heard it from Mari Smith, the social media expert. She said, you should have a Hollywood squares of people. And every time I say Hollywood squares, we date ourselves, because
Yes,
way back in the day, there was this game show on TV called the Hollywood Squares. But the neat idea about the Hollywood Squares is that, there was some celebrity in the center and he could look up or down and see people that could help him out,
Right.
and 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 why do I like 8? Because 8 is easy and manageable. I've got to get 100 partners, immediately overwhelm happens and then nothing happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a particular method that you use? I mean, in addition to what you've already said about how you select people with whom you want to engage and partner with.
Well, I love, again, this visual style of it. The challenge that I have is the number of partners, and finding different ways to partner with them. So when it's just like a launch, we've got our event coming up, that's the one time ever that we do something specifically for the Soul Affiliate Alliance. But we don't really go out looking for partners. It's the people that have been in relationship like you throughout the whole year. So it's not like we have to go hunting for partners. It's the relationships that we built throughout the year just naturally fit like a tapestry. So it's a very organic approach. That's kind of the new thing that we're looking for. Like you said, it's those relationships that we built throughout the year. So I've got partnerships that I can promote in certain ways, but those tic-tac-toe board partners are the closest. Those are the inner circle. Those are the ones that are supporting me and I can give the most support to throughout the year. There's other ways that I can support people that might be aligned but aren't as either close or supportive or maybe even as aligned, or don't have the same things to offer to my audience. Because that's a big thing. Obviously, the first and foremost thing is with a partner is we're considering our audience. That should always be our first consideration is, are they going to bring value? And are they going to be in integrity? Because I would hate to refer somebody to somebody who then doesn't provide the value that I promised that they would do. So that's always the first consideration for both you and I. And we talk about that a lot, that we bring in people that we know can add value. And so as people are showing up, my mind is always thinking of, where do I plug them in? Like, I, as a soul connector, I help people that not only understand what their purpose is, but when they're in alignment, I can say, you're in alignment with this person, you two can connect. And so it's not just about promoting me and my circle. What I love doing is bringing other people together that are also in alignment and watching what can happen from that. That's where I can make the biggest impact in my business.
Well, and you do so well with that. Now you have something coming up in a few days that is going to go a little bit deeper into attracting your soul tribe. What does it mean to attract your soul tribe, and what do you have coming up that we need to know about?
So your soul tribe, let's start with that, because again, it can kind of sound a little bit out there. I very specifically, for what I mean by soul tribe, is first attracting your perfect customers. Your perfect customers are the people that you want to serve, the people that your soul desires to be around and to support. The second part of your soul tribe is your dream team. And those are the people that are here to support you. Your dream team are your mentors, your teachers, the people that are with the strategy, as well as all of the people that actually implement the work, the VAs, the wizards behind the curtain, the copywriters, all of that stuff. You have to have a team, and you want your team to be in alignment with your vision, mission, and values as well. And then the third piece is really what most people come to me for, which is to find affiliates, what I call affiliate ambassadors. And again, that's where that alignment piece comes in. But the affiliate ambassadors, these are the people that are influencers of your ideal customers. You want to find your perfect customers. The best way to do that is to align with other people who have your perfect audience, and they're already speaking to them. Again, one of the reasons why we are such great partners is because we attract the same kind of people that want to be of service. They want to do good, and they just want to get their message out there. So we love that. We want people that are committed to their mission, because that makes us feel more committed to them. So connecting to your soul tribe really is about putting those pieces together, is understanding who your perfect customers are, the problem that you help them to solve, so that your dream team can help you actually do all of the other pieces that make your work happen. And then you can find people that say, oh my gosh, I love what you do. You use the word champion, and you are such a great champion for people. I call it an affiliate ambassador. You are one of my ambassadors. And whether you're a champion or an ambassador, these are the greatest assets that we have in our business, not because of the people that they're bringing or the marketing or anything else, but because of the support and the alignment and the being able to be on a path with somebody. It's so much more than just building your business. It's building a life that matters.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. You know, one of the reasons that I'm going to play with words here, but you know, there are partners, there are affiliates, there are champions, and they're all good words. But in my journey with joint venture marketing, if you will, there are some people who are very transactional in the way that they do things. Like, I'll do this for you if you do this for me, but maybe they skip over the mission, vision, and values part, and they're just looking for leads. That kind of thing happens all the time, but it doesn't happen for me. Like, I don't like to do it that way because it feels very tit for tat. I always say, let's not have one night stands. Let's have long-term relationships, right? Because at the end of the day, the relationships you create with people are the relationships that are going to allow your halo of awesomeness to expand. And if you get in the business of tit for tat all the time, it starts to feel like that, right?
Yes.
Which is why I choose the word champion, because if I'm going to champion someone, I'm going to give it everything I've got, because that's the way I am. That's the way I roll. And it rarely reaches the transactional. It doesn't go to the transactional level. And if it feels transactional from the start, I'm probably not going to do it, because you know what? We don't control. You see this thing here? You can control your action, but not its fruits. This was a gift from one of my partners, but I loved it because I was participating in one of these events and I gave it everything I had. And for whatever reason, the impact that it made was lackluster instead of blockbuster. And I was feeling kind of bad about it. And I even felt a little bit of shame. And I told her this. I said, I feel shame that I didn't do better for you. And she sent me this gift and she said, you can control your actions, but not its fruits. And I hung it up here to remind myself every day, is that if we do the best we can with whatever it is that we're doing, that's got to be enough, because ultimately the message has to land and people have to be moved to do that thing that you're inviting them to do. But if they're not moved and if it doesn't land, maybe there's more discernment that needs to be applied for the next time so that there can be a bigger outcome all the way around. And so I think that idea about discernment, it's not only is it a good values match, but is it a good of service match to your list? And is it something that feels like it's going to be aligned, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what do you have to add to that?
Well, yeah, you mentioned that one night stand, and so that made me be thinking about like the comparison between a partnership and dating, and that whole tit for tat thing. And if you imagined if you were dating, and on the first date, their date said, "Okay, I spent $72 on this dinner. You owe me $72 for the next dinner." And what if you only spent $40 on the dinner? Do they still owe you $32 for the one after that? Imagine if you did that on all your dates and you had to keep track for a year. Like, what kind of a relationship would that be? Or any other thing. If you're on a date and it's not feeling comfortable, you don't want to go on a second date. So you, before saying, like you said, let's get married, let's go on some dates and see if this is a long-term relationship. Are we, because a lot of times you don't know right away. You know, I trust everyone until they prove otherwise. I don't get the spidey senses that my wife gets, but when I do, when this spidey sense pops up, I'm like, oh, okay, I got a spidey sense, I better pay attention, whatever that might be about. And so having some time and being able to test things out, starting off in smaller projects and working together. Like you said, again, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And if you have a partner that is going to do an interview with you, and then they don't show up, or they don't send you the materials, or you invite somebody else and they don't send their materials, these are the things that test how is the relationship going to move forward. And all of those things are signs. So in the dating process, you say, oh, these are the experiences that I've had, and you have to own those. And this is another thing that you do really well, is you communicate, oh, I felt bad about that. You had nothing to feel bad about, but that you even said, hey, I felt like I could have done more. That your friend was like, no, there's nothing, you did everything that you were supposed to do. The same thing when, there's some other side of it. If you feel like, hey, I don't feel good about what you did as a partner, it's important to be able to address that and not to have that build up inside of you. So having good communication in any kind of relationship is really, really important. And a lot of times people don't do that in business. They have a bad experience and they're just like, all right, I won't talk to them again.
Which is such a bummer, And, another thing that we deal with in this realm that we're playing in here is that not everyone has a well-developed list of fans and followers right out of the gate. And so there's often the people that will say, well, how big is your list? And ask you to get undressed before you've said hello, these kinds of things. Because you're trying to attract soul tribes and dream teams and finding the right ambassadors. Do you have any suggestions around how to dance around the questions about the degree to which people have influence already, and to do it in a way that feels less harsh?
Yeah, less cringy. And again, it was like you just said about getting undressed, that you are asking for and if you are in a transactional relationship and that's where you are in your business, that's fine. And if that's not what you're looking for, when you're in the driver's seat, you're asking about, well, if it's something like you are definitely, this is a great fit, we want to match audiences, you can literally say, well, how many people would you send this to? You don't have to have it as the whole list. I have a friend with over 100,000 subscribers. It was invited to an event where the minimum requirement was 5,000 people to send to. And so when they said, how many people are going to send to? 5,000 people. That's the requirement, right? So first of all, just being really clear. The most important thing is knowing what your boundaries are and what your expectations are, and how you feel, like what feels good to you. So if somebody just said, well, how many subscribers are you going to send it to? That still might not feel good to a lot of people. So it can be just saying like, hey, I'm going to send it out to 7,000 subscribers. And we typically get about a 20 to 30% open rate in 1% click. I don't know what this is going to do. We don't have any control for that, but I'll send that out to that many people. Do you have an idea how many people you would be able to send it to?
I love that. Something else I would say, because I remember back in the day when I was first starting out and I didn't have much of a list, there was something that I wanted to participate in. And I guess you could say I had list shame. And the partner, who's someone I admired and respected tremendously, I basically said, I love what you're up to and I want to lend support to it. I know I'm a smaller fish, but I want to do the best I can. Won't you please allow me to contribute that support? And she said, sure, I love that. Thank you so much. And then I said, I'll give it everything I've got. And I did. And when the thing was over, she said, on a percentage basis, the community that I was leading responded far more dramatically in a favorable way than people who had much larger lists. And she said, you've really got influence. You're an up and comer. I'm really glad that we met. And so what was interesting about that scenario is that I didn't ask for something for myself. I was trying to lend support to her as a way to demonstrate my admiration and respect for what she was up to, knowing that if I gave it my very best, that she would feel that in some way, and that subsequently something good was going to happen. So one of my strategies has always been to do what I can to give first to others before asking for support for myself, because
Mhm.
over time, your own energy, engagement, and enthusiasm for whatever you promote is going to resonate in a real way. And the pattern of performance is going to emerge as a favorable demonstration of what you value and what you care about. And that's been a really good strategy for me, because way back in the day when I didn't have a list, that's how I opened a lot of doors for myself. And now that I do have a list, there's more juicy things that are happening for me in as a result of it. But everybody starts somewhere. We all have humble beginnings, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we're talking about relationship capital. They talk about when is the best time to plant a tree. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time to plant a tree is right now. And
Yeah.
so the idea of building those relationships, you don't know how they're going to turn out. You didn't plant that tree saying, oh, I hope someday she's going to reciprocate for me and promote me and go all out for me the way that I did for her. It was, I like this person, I like what they're up to, and I know that it will add value to my community. And then when you do go all out, it stands out.
Yeah, so good. Well, because when we met, I think it was, I don't know, 5 or 7 years ago, we were attending an event, and I was busy doing my thing and you were busy doing your thing, but we had like there was some energetic interruption in the field. Something. It was like, I think I'm supposed to know you, and you felt the same way, and we found a way to have a drink or something to eat or something. It was like, oh, we're supposed to be friends, and like here we are all these years later still supporting each other, and not just in business but in real life, because as many of you know, I've had a little challenge with my health this year, and Mark and Renee have just been so supportive. And Mark and Renee had challenges a few years ago, and I was supportive of them. It's just like what real human beings do. So what if all you who are watching could imagine a world in which the people you are partnering with and collaborating with are people that you would love to go for a walk with your dog with, or love to invite over to your house for Thanksgiving dinner? I mean, what if that's the picture you could paint? You can have that if you set that intention, right, Mark?
Absolutely. And I love that you said that about setting the intention. I've been working a lot with intention. I'm really working to surrender control of the outside world and know that my happiness, my joy does not depend on what's happening outside of me, whether that's good or bad. I'm not going to get upset about that, but that it starts with intention. I have to have that intention to be able to keep coming back to. And so when you're partnering, you have to start with the intention of, I want to partner with people that resonate with me. I want to partner with people that are aligned. What you call the E3,
Yeah.
the
Engaged,
triple E.
energized, and enthused. Like, you know, when you're feeling it, and when you're not. And I think we all have to learn how to trust that, because I'll never forget this. You all know what I'm like because you're in my group and you've chosen to be in there. And now you know that I only hang out with really cool people like Mark, and isn't that great, right? But there was this fella that was very transactional, and he had a name that you would recognize, and he asked for a meeting, and we got on the phone, and he had his little clipboard in front of him, and he says, well, let me take you through some steps and see what I can learn about you. And he said, well, how many people are on your list, and what's your price point, and what's your commission that you pay on that, and da 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 da. It felt like an interrogation, and I was answering his questions. And then he said, well, if it's all right with you, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. And I said, time out. And he said, okay. I said, is this working for you when you talk to other people? He says, it works really great. I said, well, I'm really happy for you, but it's not working for me. And I'm complete with this conversation. And he looked at me like I had three heads, like, how dare I say that I'm not interested? But what he demonstrated through the quality of his questions was everything about joint ventures and collaborations that I hate. I don't need to go any further. I don't need to know how big his list is. I don't need to know what he pays for commission. I don't need to know any of it. We are complete. Thank you so much. And that was that. because you're going back to that discernment and knowing what it is that's a fit and what it is that's not. And borrowing from Johnny Cochran from that very famous legal battle with O.J. Simpson, if it's not a fit, you must not commit.
I like your twist.
If it's not a fit, you must not commit. So you've got something coming up in a couple of days, December 8th. Can you tell us what that is and why we want to be there?
Absolutely. So basically, we're actually taking our 3-day event. The Soulful Leadership Retreat has 3 days, each one connecting to who you are at soul level. Day 2 connecting to why you're here. Day 3 is connecting to your soul tribe. And we wanted to give everybody an experience of that. So we've got not only content, but the idea of the event is that it's not just information, it's about integration. So when people come to the event next Thursday, coming to the workshop, if you can't join it, we will have a replay, but being there live allows you to engage. It's such an important piece of it, to be able to actually implement some of the stuff and ask questions and everything else. But we're going to look at who your perfect customers are and talk about you and how you can attract your perfect customers more easily without all of the marketing, everything else, in just a way that feels really good. We'll talk about your dream team. What are the pieces of your dream team that you need? And each of these pieces will have breakouts, so people will get to meet other people. You'll get to share what your needs are, and writing down action steps, because it's really good to have a plan, but if you don't know what you're going to, if you don't have like the actual items of here's what to do next. So next Wednesday, you'll have actual items about attracting your soul tribe, or about attracting your customers, about what you need on your dream team. Again, is that around delivery pieces? Is that around strategy pieces? Are you looking for partners? We'll figure out what that is. And then around the affiliates, we're actually going to give everybody an opportunity to find the types of partners that they need, whether they're looking to be on podcasts, if they're looking to be on stages. So we're actually going to give people an opportunity to meet and connect, in addition to giving them the strategies and a clear call to action.
That sounds like a really great event. What's the time frame? Is it a 60-minute, 90-minute?
No, it's actually 3 hours. So it's 12 noon until 3 p.m. Eastern time. So 9 a.m. out there on the West Coast.
Okay. So it's a 3-hour immersion event, virtual. And
correct.
Is it free to participate, or is there?
It is free. Yes, it is. No, it's free for everyone.
So it's free to participate. It's a 3-hour event. And here we are in the early December, where we're winding down to the end of the year and we're looking forward to a new year. How wonderful it could be to get these lessons and these conversations started, so that when we turn the page on the new year, we can be aligned and congruent with our actions and our activities, so we can create the impact that we want. Because I know for myself, I have plans to be at your live event in February in Orlando. I am really looking forward to it. I'm going to go from Washington State to Florida to be in the same space with you. It's going to be my first live event since this pandemic hit. And, here again, discernment. More and more live events are coming back, but which are the ones that are calling my name? Yours is calling my name. I'm going to get on a plane and fly from Washington State to Florida to be in the room with you and Renee and the amazing people that you assemble. So for those of you who make the wise decision to join Mark and Renee also for their 3-hour immersion experience virtual, it's free of charge. Maybe you'll make the decision that you'll be coming to Florida too, because the weather's really warm there. And gosh, I think it was 22 degrees here in Bellingham this morning. That's why I'm wearing a turtleneck.
Well, it was 60 this morning. We weren't sure if they needed long pants or short pants. But since we knew it was going to get to 78, we sent them out in the shorts.
Yeah, don't gloat about your good fortune in the weather department. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to register for the the Soul Alliance.
Connect to your Soul Tribe. Connect to your Soul Tribe workshop.
Connect to your Soul Tribe workshop. I will put it in the comments. I would love for you all to say yes to this. And I would invite you to invite those people that you are aligned with to join us in this event, so that they can have the benefit too. Because whether you join us in Florida or not, I know you're going to have a really big breakthrough that will help you take deliberate, strategic, and discernible steps in the right direction for the prosperity and the happiness and the joy that you want to have in your life and your business.
I want to add real quick, just because you said the discernment about where to go to events, and we still have people that are not traveling, and I want to respect that. So we actually have hired an entire team to live stream. So we will be live in Orlando, and people will be able to join us for the 3 days from their home. And the idea for this event next Thursday, the December 8th, is that you can actually get an experience of that. So I love the what you called it, the full immersion experience.
Well, and as we've learned since the pandemic, we can really connect, and we can connect beautifully in a great Zoom room, just like Mark and I are connecting right now. Even though he's in Florida and I'm in Washington, we still talk regularly, and it feels like he lives next door. And the only difference is I can't walk my dog with him, which I suppose we could if we wanted to. But if you're cautious for your health reasons that you can't actually go to Florida, you can still participate. And if these are your people, you will know that these are your people, and you're going to want to be a part of it, because I think what you're trying to do, I mean, your mission is big. What's your mission, Mark?
My mission is to shift human consciousness from our current state of fear and the illusion of separation to our natural state of love and deep connection.
Beautiful. Well, if that is exciting to you and is an answer to a prayer that you've been making, you're going to want to join Mark and I. I'll be sitting in the audience as Mark and Renee lead this fabulous session on December 8th. I know you'll be enlivened by it and uplifted by it, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Any parting thoughts before we sign off for today?
I loved what you said about, what is your mission? What is your vision? And if you have a big vision for 2023, I would love to see you next Thursday, and to hear what that vision is and hear how we can support you in living that mission.
Yes, amen. If you've enjoyed this interview, please post a like or a comment in the chat. If you want to be introduced to Mark personally, because he's your guy, let me know. I'll make a personal introduction. Relationships are everything in this business, and their relationships are the things that will get you through, whether you're having a great day or a challenging moment in your life. So build those relationships and be very deliberate about how you do it, and you will never have a sad day in your life. So Mark, thank you so much for being with me today. This was an amazing conversation, and I look forward to seeing what magic unfolds in the days ahead. And again, in Florida live, I can't wait to give you and Renee a really big hug. It'll be so good.
So excited.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thanks, Nancy.